Hello dear learners, I am Dr. Shubhangi Patil. Being a teacher in the senior college, I have observed that most of my students find the subject of economics very difficult. I really wonder why, as Professor Lionel Robbins has rightly said that economics is a science which studies human behavior. Still we human beings find it difficult. Actually, the basic understanding of the macroeconomic system is essential to understand this subject. I like ISLM model very much because it is a good blend of various economic forces that runs the economy. However, my students find ISLM model also difficult. So, I have brought the series of videos running from the general understanding of the economic system to the specific derivation of the ISLM model. I hope you will enjoy them all. My first video is although not directly focusing on the derivation of ISLM model, but it will surely help you to understand the how economy functions. Actually, macroeconomics is a very vast subject, and I have tried to simplify it by bringing out some fundamentals in economy, and therefore I have named my video as Fundas of 2 in Economics. So let's watch and enjoy my first video of Fundas of 2 in Economics, which is essential to understand the ISLM model. Let us learn the funda of 2 in economics. Every person in an economy plays an important role. Each of us are consumers and some of us are producers. Consumers aim at consumption, thereby satisfying their want, and producers produces to maximize their profit. Thus, there are 2 important activities in the economy, and they are production and consumption. Also, there are 2 more supplementary activities associated with the production and consumption, and they are distribution and exchange. However, distribution and exchange won't take place in the absence of production and consumption, and therefore distribution and exchange are more commercial in nature, whereas production and consumption are important pure economic activities. Thus, my first funda of 2 in economics is that there are 2 important economic activities, production and consumption. Production is done by the firm, whereas consumption is done by all the households. Our second funda of 2 in economics is that there are 2 important agents in economy, firm and the household. Firm produces goods and supply in the market. Household demand the goods produced by the producers. Thus, our third funda of 2 in economics is that there are 2 forces operating in the market, and they are demand and supply. Both the consumers and producers, in order to demand and supply the goods in the goods market, work in 2 sectors, real sector and monetary sector. These 2 sectors are also called as goods market and the money market. Thus, our fourth funda of 2 in economics is that there are 2 important markets in the economy, and they are goods market and the money market. In the goods market, producers and consumer create 2 forces, aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Aggregate demand refers to demand by all people for all the goods and services produced in the country, whereas aggregate supply refers to total supply of all the goods and services produced in the country. Thus, in order to create a demand for goods and services, in order to produce goods and services, both producers and consumers create demand for money in the money market, whereas money supply is decided by the monetary authorities. The action and reaction of the consumers and producers in the goods market through aggregate demand and aggregate supply determines an important economic variable, that is level of income, whereas the demand and supply for money in the money market decide another important economic variable, that is rate of interest. Thus, our fifth funda of 2 in economics is that there are two important economic variables in the economy, and they are level of income and rate of interest. Although we say that aggregate demand equals to aggregate supply brings equilibrium in the goods market, in reality, however, we do not have demand always equal to supply. If it is not equal to supply, then a country may face two economic problems, and they are inflation if aggregate demand is more than aggregate supply, and deflation leading to unemployment if aggregate demand is less than aggregate supply. Thus, our sixth funda of 2 in economics is that there are two main economic problems faced in the country, either inflation or unemployment. Since inflation is a more a monetary phenomena, it is better controlled by monetary authority with the help of monetary policy, whereas unemployment is a real sector problem and therefore better controlled by fiscal authority, that is government, with the help of fiscal policy. Thus, our sixth funda of 2 in economics is that there are two important policies to solve the two important economic problems of the country, and they are monetary policy and fiscal policy.